Monday is Valentine's Day, that time of the year to remember the special loved ones in your life. But for Perry of Blairstown, a senior at North Warren Regional High School, it's a time to reflect on where he was 1 year ago and where he is today. It's the middle of February, and like most of the seniors at North Warren High School, Perry is looking forward to graduation in 4 months. His senior year will be over quicker than a spring thaw in Blairstown. It seems like only yesterday Glenn was on the soccer field with his teammates, enjoying his final competitive season of soccer as best as he could. As co-captain of the Patriots, Glenn was always one of the players his teammates looked up to, a natural-born leader, according to his head coach, Greg Ackerson.
He was a player that had all three of the great characteristics. He was talented, he was motivated, and he had a great attitude. He was a perfect example of an athlete.
As a junior, Glenn started every game and played every minute on defense for the North Warren varsity. According to Coach Ackerson, Glenn would have been a starting midfielder as a senior, if not for a tragic snowmobiling accident. It occurred last Valentine's Day while Glenn and his family were away for the weekend at their vacation home in the heart of the Adirondack Mountains in Speculator, New York. It was 5:30 at night. Glenn and his friend Erica were riding their snowmobile home on this trail, a trail in Glenn's estimation he had ridden hundreds of times before. But on this particular night, the snow was coming down pretty heavy, and Glenn was traveling 50 to 55 miles an hour. That's when his snowmobile hit this bump, and he lost control of it. He was hurtled high into the air, and that's the last thing he remembers.
The first thing I remember is waking up and just feeling unbelievable pain in my back, in my legs. I woke up and told myself to get up because, you know, it hurt, but I thought I could just kind of get up, walk it off. And I told myself to stand up, and my legs didn't work.
To be honest, the scariest part was probably right after. He wouldn't wake up for me.
It kind of freaked me out because obviously, you know, you tell your legs to stand up and you expect to stand up. It was a frightening experience. From the way my back broke, it was almost as if I fell off the snowmobile and fell on the ground right on my butt, and the force of the impact just went right up my spine and fractured one of my vertebrae.
Fortunately for Glenn and Erica, a neighbor who was an emergency medical technician just happened to drive by on a snowmobile minutes after the accident. And within 20 minutes, an ambulance was on the scene to transport Glenn to the nearest hospital. His mother, Dawn, recalls the moment.
I saw him come out of the woods, and I saw him, and I heard him scream for me. He asked the ambulance corps to stop immediately, and he asked me to come over and just pray with him before they took him away.
What did you say?
She said, "Please give me his legs. I want his legs."
It was after midnight that Glenn was eventually rerouted and admitted to Albany Medical Center, where Dr. Daryl DeRicio, Associate Professor of Neurosurgery, first assessed Glenn's injury.
Well, the first time I saw him, he could not move his legs. He was paralyzed. You can see if you follow the spine down, it separates acutely right here, and you can see if you look at the spinal cord, bruising within the cord itself. You can see that there is significant injury there. But I realized when I saw him that he needed to go to the operating room pretty quickly to have it fixed. I decompressed the spine. I was able to place screws and rods to hold everything together. Then over time, this fuses to become one bone.
Now came the difficult part, telling Glenn's mother and father that while the surgery was a success, there was a small chance Glenn would ever walk again.
I was doubtful that he would regain function.
But because Glenn's paralysis was incomplete, meaning he still had some feeling in his big toe, there was reason to hope.
They said, at best, we can give you a 25% chance that he'll ever get out of a wheelchair. So you need to go in there and let him know that that's what we're working with.
The first thought that went through my head was that there was a 25% chance that I was going to walk again, so I was going to do everything I could to walk again.
He's wiggled his toe, he wiggled his knee, like it was stuff like that, and you're like, he's going to be walking one day. a kid who's so determined and so just motivated. He is so self-motivated that we knew that he was going to do it.
If I had to choose anybody to have to go through this, which you would never want to do, I could see that he would be able and was equipped to make this work to the best of his ability. Strong, determined. With that, he looked at me and he said, "Well then, Mom, let's roll." And then he looked at me and he said, and I mean literally. So.
Glenn Perry's quest to walk continues. When we return on the Jersey Sports Final, Glenn's first steps seen on television for the first time.